Hi, my name is Tina. Guess this gonna be like my little blog, my first day really on this. Wow, this is me at my raw, um, me at my brokenness, me at my emptiness, and me at a place to where how can I put it? Wondering where's God. Uh, always been a God fearing person. Grew up in the church. May have not dotted every I and T, but I knew who my Savior was. I knew who my provider was. I knew who my Father was. I knew who He was. Ever since I was a little girl, in church, people always say, "Hey, you gonna do this? You gonna do that? God's called you to do this and do that," to where it can put you into a place of confusion sometimes. Um, young for age, my patience, my endurance, my trust, my hope, everything was tested. Everything was tested from 13. Anybody that knows me can tell you like my dad was my world. Like my dad meant so much to me. And when I lost him at 13, that's when I became lost. That's when my trust in God was tested. My faith in God was tested. My my even questioning of His being, and my questioning of His existence was even questioned. And I always was the type that kept up on myself. Love fashion, love hair, love nails, love all of that. And I started to have myself at a place to where I couldn't really find myself, or I couldn't grasp myself, or I couldn't come back to where I was at. I found myself at an empty place. I found myself at a lonely place. I found myself at a hurtful place. And I started to go down different roads, and depression and all of that. At the age of 13, depression, not wanting to be here, and trying to cope with this thing called life. And to my surprise, when I was trying to leave this world, God said no. God said no, and God let it be known. Us as a black community don't believe in counseling or going to sit down and going to talk to people, or going to vent and sit down with somebody that's professional, like, to really, really help us. Like, us as black people, we don't do that. We find it like, yo, you crazy. Like, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Us as black people, we don't feel like that's something that we should do. But my family did, and it turned out at that age to be the best thing for me. Um, I did later on, start to find myself and start trusting God, and I was a member of the church and in the choir, and I was dancing and mind dancing. My faith was so strong. The word was so good, so good. But yet I was tested again. When you're grown and you're trying to fill a empty void in your life, you're trying to fill a empty space in your life. You're trying to feel like I need something to feel like I belong, or you're trying to feel like I need to feel like I want it. You get into these relationships and you do things at a young age that you should have no business doing. And I did. And my very first time I did, my secret of being grown turned into reality. And that's when I was pregnant. I got pregnant. I got pregnant at 15. Um, my high school sweetheart, the love of my life. At that time, I felt like, got pregnant. 15, pregnant. No job, no nothing. Just a single mother raising me at the time. And I'm about to be a mother too at 15. I fought at my mom for so much different things. I felt like it was her reason that my father died. I felt like, why did he had to leave me? I felt like a lot of stuff that was going wrong in my life was her fault. It seriously won't. It won't. Um, but I still blamed her. I fought against her instruction. I fought against everything she tried to tell me. I fought against that. I even was so bold enough to jump up in her face at 16 to only be knocked down. I had my baby. When I had my baby, it was a glorious day. Family, church members, everybody was there. Friends, everybody was there. I had my baby, my firstborn, my love of my life, who meant everything to me. My Isaiah. Um, I had him. And it was hard, but I had him. And then, not shortly after having him, I had Elijah. And they saved my life. Wow. They gave me purpose. I believe things don't happen coincidentally. God gives us what we need. And at that point, He knew I needed. I needed something to fill my void, my Father. I needed something to fill my brokenness. I needed something to fill it. And they filled it. I went through so much. Single mother with 2 kids, 19, working, just graduated high school to only run into another roadblock. My joy at that moment, my support system, what built me up besides God, my mother. God takes my mother. Wow. So it left me 19, 2 kids, single mother, by myself in a house, by myself, without my mother. Wow. Met a man. And it was like one of those rebound type of things, and pow, we in a relationship. Treated me like a queen. Anything I wanted, tried to do. Took on my son like he was his son. And grant you, we had our ups and downs, but he was there. And he took care of us. I worked, he worked. He took care of us. then we came to a roadblock into our relationship to where it was just too much. Like we was going through too much at that time, and I said to him, I was like, I can't do it. At this time, I had 3 kids. I had Isaiah, Elijah, and Xavier. And when I told this man this, he set himself on fire. To see it, it was like I was living a dream. To see it, it was like, I can't believe this. To see a person lit in flames running towards you in the house, and you had at that time grabbed 2 babies, one in one arm and one in the other arm, and run to get help. Sometimes the vision of it, when I close my eyes, it's there. Came back to the house. Excuse me. And when we came back, me and my neighbor, he was bathing in the shower. Tina, get me water, flesh on top of flesh falling off. At that point, he was in a shock moment. Police came, ambulance. We was fortunate enough to stay right down the street from where a fire station was. If police came, ambulance or whatever. So they're questioning me like, maybe I set them on fire, like I did this or I did that. My neighbors at this time, they was a corner house. They was like, no, she didn't do it. He did it and blah, blah, blah. And, so my auntie said, no, she needs to get to the hospital. She needs to know what's going on, blah, blah, blah. I get to the hospital. That's when guilt set in. That's when maybe I shouldn't have said what I said. Maybe I should have just pressed through the relationship. That's when that set in. Got there, he was in a coma. Over the days, I noticed that this battle was not mine alone. This battle was God. I had spiritual friends come to me and say, what you see is what you see is what you don't see. You're not looking at this spiritually. So I would read and I saturated myself in the word, and I would pray, and I had people praying with me, just to call out a few. But I had this one person that was praying with me, Kevin Cuffey. That was my rock at that time. He would pray and he would read. And he was what I needed at that time as a friend to help me, because I didn't even realize what I was reading. But to help me in the word. So I would go and I would pray over Greg, and I would go and I would read the word, and I would do all of that. Then I got a call, hey, he's out of the coma. But guess what? You can't see him yet. He's out of the coma, but you can't see him yet. I had to be clear. He had to tell the detectives out of his mouth what happened. He did. I was clear. The battle just went on. Like, the battle went on. Like, I know a lot of people, even to this day, blame me for what happened to him because I was deciding to walk away. And for so long, I did too. I blame myself that he did this to himself. I blame myself for so long. My family member was telling me, you need to leave him. You need to go. You have kids. You need to walk away from this situation. You need to. But I couldn't, because I'm the type of person, when you're going through something, I would never leave you at your low, at the bottom. I would never. So I stayed. And I learned how to take care of him. I stayed and I learned about burns, and I learned about his dressings. on top of, his family was there and everything. And I stayed, and he got better, he got better. He started to walk again. He did so much. And that was by the grace of God. So over time, he got better and he started to be back himself again. And I married him. A lot of people say I married him out of guilt. A lot of people seem to say that I married him because, he was my kid's father, and I believed in, trying to do things the right way. And it's so many different things people will say about me. But I'm just me, I do have a mouth on me, so I'm not even gonna lie about that. But I'm just me. I love people dearly, to the point to where I love people so much, and I offer so much to where I'm the fool. But anyways, back to this, like, I stayed, and I stayed, and I married him, and I stayed married, and we then had 3 more kids. We had Amaya, my only girl, my Miss Sassy, and we had the twins. And I had them, and they were my light. I had 6 kids, and they were my light. But my marriage was taking a hold. Like, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. Like, I didn't understand different things, and I'm not saying everything was his fault. It was a lot that was my fault too. I didn't try a lot, but I wasn't happy. But I will say he tried to make me happy. He tried to be the best father he could. He was to 6 kids. He was a good man to 6 kids. He was a good father. But I tried. But when you can't be happy in a relationship, and you can't be happy in a marriage if you're not happy with yourself. And I wasn't happy with myself. A lot of people looking like, why is she up here now telling her story? Or why is she up here? No, I'm not telling my story. I'm just telling you a glimpse of what's going on with me. And when I speak, I speak not for pity. I speak not for sympathy. I speak that for somebody else's life to be changed. This is me. Like, and I always try to keep my life an open book, but this is just me at my vulnerability right now. This is me at my bottomness right now. This is me at my brokenness right now. And this is all that you see right now. And this is all that you're going to see. Me right now at my bottom, right now at my brokenness. This is me. This is Tina. I stayed married in this marriage. He took care of these 6 kids, Of course, I was working. I was working my tail off. I was working in a hotel, working and working and working and working and working and working my tail off. We had bills on top of bills. We were staying in a house that that I inherited from my mom. And there was bills on top of bills, and people in it. Now it was just a lot. It was a lot. Trying to stay afloat, and really, I didn't know concepts of a lot of stuff, because when my mom died, a lot of stuff I wasn't taught. So people teach your kids the meaning of money, teach your kids the meaning of saving, teach your kids the meaning of budgeting and paying bills. Teach your kids at a young age, because when my mom died, I did not know a lot. My sister Cherie, she tried to teach me as much as she could. I didn't even know how to balance a checkbook, yet alone the concept of a checking account or a banking account. I didn't know any of that. I just knew when the money rolled in, spend it. So I would work, to the fact that I was tired, drained. But still I trust God, and still I continue to pray. Still I continue to trust God, because at this point God has shown me that he was a healer. God has shown me that he can work a miracle. God has shown me that, he can breathe life back into a vessel. He has shown me so much at this time. So I knew that God had me. I bit my tongue, and I went and I applied for housing. Something that, to be honest with you, I kind of shined like, I'm not going into nobody's system, but I did. I got approved for housing, moved into the projects. They took me from a 3 to a 4 to a 5-bedroom. Moved into a projects. So when I moved into the projects, still working at the hotel. At this point, I had got promoted. I got promoted next door to our sister property to lead to assistant inspector at that time. And the job was strenuous, long hours. How can I put it? Long hours. It was a lot on me trying to get the hotel right for inspections and everything, to where I would work and I found myself getting sick. I found myself getting sick. And this particular day, I had just came out of the shower in my room downstairs, and I'm, naked, and I'm getting dressed, and my husband at the time came in the room, and he was like, "Oh my God, who's beating on you?" Not even noticing, because I was going and going and going and going so much that I didn't even notice the different changes that I was going through as far as my body. And my body was going through so much changes. And he said to me, "Tina, you have bruises on your body. Who was beating you?" And he said this with tears. And if anybody know Greg cared about me. Greg loved Tina so much to where he loved me more than he loved himself. Greg loved the mess out of me. So to see his face, and he was crying, and he said, "Look at these bruises." And I looked down at my breast, and I had literally a huge bruise on my breast. I had bruises on my thighs in the shape of a diamond, and I had bruises everywhere, and I did not know where they came from. But my energy level at that time, I would come home and I would sleep, and I would sleep, and I would sleep, and I would sleep, and I would sleep. And then I would start to get these pains in my legs to where I couldn't walk. And I was sleeping, I was sleeping, I was sleeping, I was sleeping. And I just did not have enough energy. I was sleeping, I was sleeping, I was sleeping. This was in February. And I called my sister Laverne, my sister-in-law. I said, "I need you to take me to the doctor." So I was too fearful at that time to go to the hospital. So I said, "Take me to the patient first." All in my mind, I'm saying something is seriously wrong. Like something is seriously wrong. Like I got cancer or something. Something is like really wrong. Get there. When I get there, all of my numbers, my white blood cells, my red blood cells, my platelets, everything is all out of whack. They gave me a list, and it was like, "You need to follow up with the hematologist, and you need to do that as soon as possible. You need to make that appointment for tomorrow. This is how serious." So I said, "Okay, whatever." Went. I ain't gonna lie, I went. I thought I could heal myself. I went to go buy beats and stuff like that to try to get my numbers and stuff like that. And found myself right back. Yes, the next day. Told them I couldn't get an appointment, blah, blah, blah. They said, "No, you need to go see somebody and let me go home." The next day, I called my sister. I said, "My leg is hurting. I can't walk. I can't walk." She took me to the hospital. I showed them a list of my results from Patient First. They ran the same test, and my numbers were still out of whack. They gave me an ultrasound, whatever. They was really concerned, but they let me go home. So they must have wasn't that concerned, but they let me go home. A couple of days later, they called me and they said, "Miss Boyd, No, actually, a couple of days they called me, and I noticed that it was the hospital calling, and I kind of ignored the call, being fearful. And in the word it say, you know, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but I was fearful. I was fearful. Called my this lady named Miss Selena that I call Mama. I call her. She's my spiritual mama. I call her at the time and I cried and I said, Mama, the hospital's calling, like my numbers, like she said, T, just pray, trust God, T, trust God, just pray. I don't care what it is, T, just pray, trust God. At this time, me and this girl named Teresa, we were friends. And me and her father was close, you know. We were reading, we were encouraging stuff each other in the word, and you know, I called them and they said, Miss Boyd, we need you to come in, and we need you to come in, and we need you to be prepared to stay. They called me, and at that time we had all of the kids at the house. My husband couldn't go, so at this point I had Teresa. She took me up there. And her father, he prayed with me, and she took me up there, and they took us right back. We got in the room, and it was so funny because we was in a room that they could come in, but we couldn't get out. So, anyways, the nurse came in, and I'm the type of person that reads people body language and stuff like that. And when not the nurse, the doctor, and when she started to come in the room, I saw her body movement, like it was sorrowful. It was like a seriousness. It was like, oh my God. She was like, Miss Boyd, we have, you know, to tell you something. And I was like, no, don't tell me. I don't want to know. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. Tell her, but I don't want to know. At this point, I had already knew in my mind that I was sick, and I was really sick. I stepped out of the room. She said, well, with your permission, I can tell her. I said, yeah. So I went out of the room, and I was looking at Teresa's body movement. And when the lady came in and told her that I had cancer, I could see the tears in her eyes. I could see the body move, her body language. Like, I could see her. This was my friend. This was somebody that loved me for me. And I could see this girl break down, but trying to still hold herself up because she had to tell me what was going on. God gives you what you need when you need it. I would never know when I met this girl in the hotel that we was gonna have a friendship that we had. Anyways, I came in the room, she grabbed me, she said, Katina, you have cancer. She said, Katina, you got leukemia. They don't know what type of leukemia, but they gotta start treatment immediately. She called my family. I called my family. I'm crying. I called my spiritual mom, Miss Alita, and I was like, why? Why? Out of everything I have endured, why? Like, my God, I felt like God had forsaken me at this point. Like, why? Why having 6 kids? Wasn't it enough that he took my mother? Wasn't it enough that he took my father? Why? And I started to have this hatred towards God, to where, why would you do this to me? My family came, my support system came in a blink of an eye. These people stopped everything they did at that point because they knew I needed them, and they came to the hospital. Michelle, my kid's godmother, her mother, my sister Laverne, my sister-in-law Laverne, my sister, her husband was deployed or something. She couldn't get there, but she was there on the phone. Oh, Miss Alita was there on the phone. Greg's mother was there. Like, my family was really there. My brother, Toya, that was there.
I had to go immediately for a bone marrow biopsy, which is the worst thing. I had to start chemo immediately by mouth. It was something called Atria or something like that. I had to take 8 pills a day, 4 by mouth, four in the morning time, 4 in the evening time. But it made me so sick. It did. And, people started coming from far. My kid's dad, my life savior. My husband at that time, he came and he just spoke life into me. Tina, you gonna do this, you gonna push, because I was giving up. Tina, you gotta push, you gotta push, you gotta push. And when I tell you God gives us what we need, he gives us what we need. I had 6 kids, and those 6 kids were gas. Then he gave me hope when I didn't have hope. My twins at that time they weren't even 1. My daughter was about to have her first birthday. So I had babies that was babies. Excuse me. I started to go into this battle. And if anybody that has cancer or anybody that's in remission or have battle with cancer, you already know it's a hard fight. You already know sometimes it can be mental. Your mental is what keep you. You already know. And, I taking chemo by mouth, and then the cancer I had was APL, acute primary cystic leukemia. I don't know if you guys ever watched that movie called My Sister's Keepers. My Sister Keepers, with that girl, she had APL. So, anyways, as they diagnosed me and everything, they didn't know the type of leukemia. So my spiritual mother, she prayed over the phone and she said, I'll never forget that her prayer was that they would send a doctor, and then the doctor would be from God, and that he would know God, and he would have directions from God, that he was be a doctor designed from God. When this man came in, he's from Virginia Oncology. His name is Dr. Atienza. When he came in, he grabbed my hand and he said, baby, you have cancer. And he was like, what did he tell me? He said, he had told me the type of cancer I had at that time. He told me you have acute primary cystic leukemia. It's rare. And then he told me, you have it or whatever. So I was like, okay. So my questions went in. I wanted to know the survival way. I wanted to know everything right then and there, what I was going to go through. And he said, I only treated one other person with this type of cancer. And I said, oh, okay. He was knowledgeable about it. He said, yeah, I treated him or whatever. I said, so how's he doing? What happened with him? He said he hemorrhaged and died. But God, he grabbed my hand and he said to me, but I'm not going to lose you. At that point, so many different things went through my mind. I'm like, I'm going to die. Who's going to raise my babies? Who's going to keep my babies? My babies going to be split up. Like, I'm not going to make it. But God, over the next month and a half, Chesapeake General became my home. People came to encourage me from far and near. My family set my room up. They bought balloons, and it was Valentine's Day, and I had to spend Valentine's Day there. My husband was there. My sister, thank God for Laverne, and my and she has been my right hand. I want y'all to know, she has been my right hand. Even to now, if I can give her the world, I will give her the world. She has been my right hand. When I wanted to give up, she wouldn't let me give up. As well as my kids' godmama. She came and she knew them kids was gonna fuel me. She knew I needed them to push me. She came in, and at this point, with the hospital was under that HYN1, the kids can't come in the hospital, blah blah blah. But she knew I needed my kids. She brought them kids in spirit to me. She took and she made pictures and posters, and she posted them up around in my room, and she knew. Miss Selena, she would encourage me. She would give me scripture. She would pray, but she had got to a point to where she was starting to break because she saw me breaking. But she continued to pray. She continued to fast because she on my back because I couldn't do it. I had put myself in a box to where I had hatred towards God. A lot of people look at me and say, oh my gosh, she's so strong. Honey, I was not strong at that time. Honey, I just wanted to lie there and just give up at that time. Honey, I was not. Every time I had a blood result, it was a showing improvement. Like, I was not. But then I had a moment. Had these nurses would come in, student nurses from Norfolk State University, and the instructor, she would encourage me. These two girls would encourage me. I mean, these girls would encourage me so much. God sent people that I didn't even know around me, and He encouraged me. I had a nurse that I noticed that had went to Indian River High School with me. I can't think of her name, but her last name is Bryant. We're Facebook friends, but I can't think of her name right now. But she kind of encouraged me too. So many people encouraged me at this time. I was young, y'all. I was trying to fight this thing called cancer, and cancer is not something. I was young, y'all. I was young. I was 20-something years old. So I was in the room one day and listening to some gospel music, and that song "Grateful" came on. So I listened to the lyrics of that song, and I listened to it, and then that song "I Trust You" by James Fortune. That was my anthem, and I told the song by Great Queen. Whew, now that was it. At this point, I had a lot of friends, y'all. I want y'all to tell you, you don't know your friends until you go through something. Do you hear me? I had a whole lot of friends. Do you hear me? I had people that was around me that I thought they cared about me. I had a whole lot of friends, but I only had two that stuck with me. Teresa and Kelly. They stuck with me. Yo, they stuck with me. They didn't care. They stuck with me. Stuck with me, y'all. As I'm going through chemo and I'm laying in the bed and I'm feeling hopeless and I'm feeling like I'm gonna give up. And I had a moment with God. And I cried out to Him and I prayed and I cried out to Him. And I fussed and I yelled and I screamed, but I still cried out to Him. And it was that day a change took place. My faith grew. I spoke to that situation. Do you hear me? I'm telling y'all, yo, life and death is in the power of the tongue. I spoke to that situation and God dealt with that situation. I spoke to that situation. Do you hear me? I said, I shall not die. I shall live. I spoke to that situation. Doing different test results still not coming back right. I still spoke. I still had faith. People was coming to the hospital and I'm encouraging them and I'm praying to them, don't feel sorry for me. Don't come in here and feel sorry for me because my God is the God of healers. God said by His stripes we are healed. And I took that and I ran with it. That was my scripture. Do y'all hear me? I took that and I ran with it. I took it and I ran with it, yo. I took it and I ran with it. Dr. ATS came in and he noticed like my spirit was kind of off a little bit one day. And I was like, I miss my kids. I can't hold my kids. Can't hold my daughter. I miss my kids. I'm tired of hearing about my kids. I just want to see them. I want to hold them. I want to hold them. And that's how my son Isaiah, he started to act out. And if anybody know Isaiah, he's a good kid. So those behaviors was not like him. He started to act out. But he was starting to act out because he was scared. He didn't know if his mommy was going to live. He didn't know if his mommy was going to die. He was scared, but he was the oldest. Now the kids pretty much didn't understand. Anyways, the doctor said, you know what? She needs her kids. She needs her kids. This man went on and learned from me. He wrote, and I'll never forget it, on the prescription thing for his medicine, her kids. He went and he talked to the people in the hospital and he said she needs to see her kids. So they allowed my kids to come into the hospital. They allowed me to go downstairs. I had to be masked up and all of that because, you know, my counts was all out of whack. If they had colds or anything like that, they couldn't come and stuff like that because my immune system was compromised. And you know, my kids came and they would see me. My kids, my niece Bria, my nephew Tavion. And at that point, I don't know if y'all know, but they were like my babies. They were my babies. Like my kid was always my kids and her kids. Like they always together. They have this closeness. So they were my babies. They and Bria, like that was my baby. That was my joy. You know, she was my first little girl that I could like do things that I wanted to do with a little girl. Of course, because I had boys, so it was my heart. These kids gave me energy. These kids gave me fuel to push. God gave me fuel to push. The word gave me fuel to push. Prayer gave me fuel to push. People coming around me to encourage me gave me fuel to push. And I push. And I push. A month and a half later, I was discharged from the hospital. And let me tell y'all, I was rolling around, talking about how good God was. Y'all, I was getting chemo on my arm like it wasn't nothing. Like I was going, you know, I felt like I was okay. I felt like I had cancer, but cancer didn't have me. Huh. But that thing called faith got to be tested, right? I went home. When I went home, I noticed my energy level dropped. I couldn't even lift my babies up. You heard me? I couldn't even lift my babies up. I couldn't do nothing. Walking from the couch to the kitchen was a task for me. Energy gone. At this point, I only had one bathroom at that time. It was upstairs. My bedroom was downstairs. But when I tell you God gives you what you need, right? I had this friend, Kelly, and I love her still to this day. Love her dearly. Kelly went around, and Teresa went around to find me a potty chair. I would use the potty chair. I would, you know, I ain't had no energy. I had to go to the doctor this particular day. Grant couldn't go because, you know, and he would go back and forth with me. And I was battling with, okay, my count still ain't up. Every week, like, with these blood works, you know, so my count still ain't up, blah, 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 all of that. At this point, y'all, I was taking, I think it was 18 pills by mouth daily. Count still bothering me. I'm getting sick, hair falling out, just everything going wrong. Went to the doctor, and when I went to the doctor, I was so weak to where Kelly had to pretty much hold me up. I'll never forget it. She had to hold me up, y'all. She had to hold me up. Sitting in the house, sitting in the doctor's office, and numbers still ain't going up. You know, numbers still ain't going up. There was a lady in there, she would encourage me and stuff. Numbers still ain't going up. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
It was the end of April. I went to the doctor and I was feeling okay. And at this point, I had went on, and I had cut my hair, because my hair was falling out in patches, so I cut my hair. And went to the doctor. My numbers was starting to go up. I kept speaking and 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 speaking positive into my life, y'all. Numbers kept going up. Kept speaking. Kept speaking. And then in reverse, going down. Kept speaking. Kept fighting. Kept fighting. Kept fighting. I was fighting against everything, y'all. I was fighting against my flesh. I was fighting against what the doctor said. I was fighting against what everybody had to say. I'm going to fight. I'm going to live and I shall not die. I did, yeah. I did. My fight with cancer, it was long. I had to go through the maintenance phase. I was taking so many different pills and getting sick. It was long. I also forgot to tell you that when I found out I was sick, I was working at the hotel. I had just got that position. I had worked in that position for 2 weeks. Okay, no benefits at that time, nothing. But I was working in that position for 2 weeks. Let me tell you, when God said He will be our provider, He will be our provider because the God laid on that owner of that property heart to continue paying me every week, 20 hours a week, money that I didn't even earn. Do you hear me? Miss Karen was my supervisor. Angie was my supervisor. Money that I did not earn, y'all. 20 hours a week. They came in when I came home from the hospital. They provided Easter for my kids. They paid my car payment. Yo, they came in on Mother's Day. They gave me my first name brand person. It was real. Like, yo, I want y'all to understand. People I did not know came from behind the scenes to bless me and to be a blessing for me. On top of that, I did get approved not 1 month, but 2 months. My disability. So God was my provider. Do you hear me? God said He will provide, and He did that. And He did that. He defied all odds. He did that. Do y'all hear me? He did that. So whatever you're going through, whatever test that you feel like is too hard, whatever you feel like that you can't make it through, listen, I'm here to tell you, motherless, fatherless, and even going through my mess right now, I'm here to tell you that God will, and God shall, and God still is sitting on the throne. God will make a way. I am the type of person that I don't care what these people out here has to say about me. People been talking about me since I was young. People have said so many things about me. Listen, I have heard it all. Do you hear me? But I am Tina. I am Tina, by the way. I am Tina. I am who God has called me to be. Ain't no devil in the hell can shut my mouth out and tell me that God ain't good. Do you hear me? Ain't no devil in hell that can't tell me that God won't supply your need. Ain't no devil in hell that say God can't be a mother to the father, to the motherless, and a father to the fatherless. Ain't no devil in hell that God that they can't tell me that God can't wipe away your tears. God can't do this and God can't do this. Ain't no devil in hell that can tell me God is not a freaking healer. Ain't nobody in the hell can tell me that. And this is just a glimpse of my story. This is just a glimpse of my story. Somebody told me, Tina, you really need to start, blogging. You need to start doing this. You need to start that. And I am, but I'm just going to go ahead and end this right now. Right now I am in remission, been in remission for 6 years. I had one scare. But I've been in remission for 6 years, and I will tell y'all this. God can defy all odds. God will come in the nick of the time. God will do what He said He would do. God will supply all of your needs. God is a Father. He is everything that you need. He will be everything that you need. Do you hear me? But thank y'all for listening. Again, I'll be back tomorrow to tell some more of everything. But y'all keep praying for me. Y'all keep me in your prayers, because this battle that I'm not yet ready to talk about, that I'm going through, is really hard. So I'm just telling y'all to keep me in your prayers, to keep my babies in your prayers. You know, the key, and if you see me, or you see me out on the street, encourage me, and I'll try to encourage you. Don't talk about me, pray for me. Okay, thank you. Y'all be blessed. Bye bye.